right, so that makes is this day 25? Little quarter of 100. I don't know if we're gonna get into 200 range this time, but then again, I said I'd end the last bulk at day 100, so it's fucking whatever. As long as the scale keeps moving, fuck man, I'm gonna keep on growing, keep on eating all my sweets, treats, doing my cardio, lifting hard, progressing. But specifically for today, I am focused on back. Now, I've got a couple of things which I definitely know I'm going to do. So, when it comes to pull downs, when I do regular straight bar pull downs, I kind of feel like I'm working a lot of like real lower lats, like real kind of like closing in on the Christmas tree, right? Sort of having thick, I don't know, I want to say kind of upper erectors, because when I do pull downs like that, I kind of lean back a little bit. But whenever I do pull downs with like a wide neutral grip, I can sort of stay more upright and only feel my lats firing. And I know this gym has those handles, so I think that is going to get implemented pretty freaking heavily. So that'll probably be at least a couple of sets for pull downs. And when it comes to rows, I've got a pretty good amount of options here because they've got like, I couldn't even tell you, maybe 5 or 6 different row machines. Some hammer strength, like I think some Nautilus ones or something. It's all sorts of stuff, all sorts of freaking stuff. But should be a pretty quick lift. I mean, honestly, I really only foresee maybe 5, 6 sets total. And of course, none of those are going to be shrugs. And way more. Well, I feel way more strongly about the fact that none of them are going to be deadlifts. So why no shrugs? I feel like by doing upper back biased rows, I get enough shrug. I get enough trap activation. But then again, that's probably just because my traps are, developed enough. It's yeah, that doesn't. I don't. I don't really want fucking. I don't want to be walking around like this. Honestly, I think if I did traps dedicated every lift or every back day at least, like heavy shrugs, seriously working them, I think they could pretty easily reach a point of, well, obviously freakiness. So, I mean, we all know I'm trying to improve the freak factor, but maybe not in that way. No, so they're big enough, so I don't really need to hit them directly. I did used to do shrugs, man. I mean, I did used to do a couple different kinds of movements, but some muscle groups will reach a point, well, they might reach a point of just being, big enough relative to your frame. So, like for me, my, oh, perfect example, abs. I still get some chit chat, either comments about it or just people talking to me about it in person. What's a good ab routine? Or this is a classic fucking dilemma that's been proposed. Are abs built in the kitchen or are they built in the gym? How do you get abs? I think that's really what I'm trying to say. How do you get abs? Or why do I have abs even though I never do them? So, I mean, it's just a muscle which once you've built, maintaining it is not even something that you really have to do actively. So, abs I did used to do pretty frequently. I would actually do them after every cardio session. So I do my 30 minutes of cardio, and then just to get abs out of the way, it would be about 8 sets of really heavy cable crunches. So you go up to a cable machine like you'd use for pushdowns, have the handle at like head height, shoulder height, whatever. I'd always put a pad down. I don't want to be kneeling on the fucking ground. But do that, grab a rope or maybe a W bar or whatever you feel comfortable with. Keep it kind of just right here in front of your freaking face. And then, just fucking do a curl. Why would you want to train a muscle any differently than any other, at least in terms of its basic style of stimulus, right? I don't, if I want a big back, or let's say if I want a big chest, then I want to load my pecs with a lot of fucking tension. And the pretty much the most common, simplest, easiest way to do that is with fucking weight training, right? Resistance training. So, I'm not going to say you can't build a set of abs doing, crunches and leg lifts, or side to side touches and whatever. I mean, it's still ab activation when you do those, so it's doing something. But I'm not going to do a body weight workout for my chest, right? I want to use weight. I want to do a set of like 10 reps. So by doing that with a cable crunch, I can actually stimulate my abs with a lot of fucking weight. And when it comes to maintaining them, honestly, once you have a set of abs on your belly, they're not going away. If you're training consistently, they are not fucking going away. I mean, every time you look in the mirror, just by flexing them, and the fact that they come into play in, all sorts of other movements, they're just not going anywhere. So same thing with me for front delts. I used to do overhead press, overhead Smith machine, a ton of front raises, dumbbell shoulder press, a ton of shit like that. And then, my front delts got to a point where they're big enough, so now I don't have to train them directly. So, oh Jesus, this is a unfortunate intersection where I have to fucking just turn left across two, let's just call it packed fucking lanes of traffic. So, what else is going on? Nothing. Chilling. Thanksgiving is approaching rapidly. Personally, I'm most excited about the deviled eggs. That's kind of my Thanksgiving favorite. But, I'm sure my plate's going to be overflowing with fucking mashed potatoes, turkey. My mom asked me if I wanted anything special. Honestly, I think I just want some fucking steaks too. Would not mind that. So, I'm losing my mind. Let's just get in there. Let's get started. All right, so following prediction, wide neutral grip pull downs inbound. I'll just try to throw the stack around for as many as possible, including partials, of course. Okay. Oh my goodness. One more just like that. Okay. All right, let's just keep it basic. Let's do some seated cable rows next. After a couple sets of a lat biased rowing, a lat biased pull down movement. Now I want to do a rowing movement, hit more, upper mid back. So, I mean, machines are cool, but fuck, man, it's kind of hard to beat a seated cable. Now all I have to do is fucking keep a relatively stiff back. I don't mind a little bit of rounding, but of course, you're kind of asking for trouble the rounder you get. But apart from that, I just got to focus on going crazy. Let's do one more with like 2/3 the weight. And instead of going crazy in terms of, how much weight I'm throwing around, I'll really focus on a squeeze and a hold. Whew. Okay. I need to think. I want to do one more set of something, but I'm not sure what that something is. Let's fast forward to once I've figured that shit out. But this is a good one. Even though the set looks fucking astronomically different than the one before this, I'm still getting a solid squeeze on my upper lats, these kind of funky rhomboid, Terry's major, whatever's, and my mid traps. Oh my God. So this isn't my first time here. I've got a membership to this gym. Whenever I'm home, like perpetually, like in the summer or like winter break from school, I go here a lot. But I've never used this row machine. I couldn't for the life of you tell me why. This thing feels sick. So I'll do one set, and honestly, if I feel fully pumped, then I'm done here. Now all you gotta do is get hyped up and do it. Okay. Let's go check the back pump. Music's kind of loud. If the audio sounds funky, it's because I did like a little voice isolate or whatever. Don't fucking worry about it. It's not going to affect the pump. So let's see how we're fucking looking in arguably the best lighting of the gym, if I say so myself. So this will be a common occurrence coming here, but I mean, right now it's kind of a long drive just for like a day or two. More of like a summer gym, as it were. But I'm fucking loving it here. It's actually hardcore, so that's fucking badass. Let's just get a couple mandatories and then roll. So you tell me, how's this lat spread? Oh my goodness. I fucking feel pretty pumped. But then again, I fucking always do. So what kind of grading scale is that? Oh. All right, morning weight today was unknown. Did not weigh myself, but I'd say before next week for sure, 250 is going to be the new low. Like if I wake up light, it's going to be 250. So, I mean, I'm not one to hypothesize numbers like that because I don't care about pounds or like hitting a specific weight. Really, I'm just trying to get bigger, and more body weight just comes along with that. It's almost secondary to the initial goal. But, I mean, let's be real, I'm still a little bit egotistical about it. I'm excited to hop on the scale in the morning and have it say 260 with no food in my stomach. But that's it. Quick back day. Fucking Everybody's going hard in here, which I like. Let's roll. Let's get in the fucking car, man. We're done. All right, so that was a pretty gosh dang good back pump, if I am the judge, which I am. That's burning. Honestly, I don't know. That last row machine, I don't know if I'm really a massive fan. You know what I think would be good on that last row machine? I think what I should have done was a set of pullovers, you know, like cable rope pullovers as like a pre-exhaust, and then supersetted with those rows, because the stack wasn't insanely heavy. Maybe if I threw a plate on the side, it would have been better. But you know, pre-exhausted sets like that, and as a finisher for back, if I pre-exhaust with like a lat bias movement like those pullovers, and then do a row, I mean, that's pretty much just going to ensure that my whole back gets, well, pumped to a filthy degree, as it were. But I mean, pretty basic lift, you know. What was special about the exercise choices or the rep schemes or, well, I mean, fucking the style, anything? What was so special about it? You know, pretty much nothing. You know, anybody could go into the gym and think, okay, I'll do 2 sets of pull downs, 2 sets of rows, and another set of machine rows. The secret does not lie per se in your exercise selection, and not even completely in your exercise order. Really, I mean, you could have a real fucking scrappy routine, or you could live by some pretty arbitrary rules when it comes to lifts. Like, let's say you set yourself the constraints of like chest day, all you do is 5 sets of incline bench or incline Smith, whatever. Back day, all you do is 2 sets of pull downs, 3 sets of rows. Bicep day, or your bicep lift, just 5 sets of dumbbell curls. Triceps, 5 push downs. If you went balls to the wall and you seriously pushed yourself to legitimate muscular failure, a routine like that would fucking work. Now, I'm not going to say it's your best option, of course. You're not stimulating every part of your chest or whatever in different ways. But a guy doing a basic ass routine like that will get better results as long as he eats enough food to grow than a dude who does, you know, all sorts of different movements, but, you know, kind of half-asses it, right? If you just want to be active, like just going into the gym just to, you know, to be active, you don't have to fucking push yourself balls to the wall like that. It's not a, there is benefit to just, you know, going into the gym and moving some weight around, even if it's kind of mindlessly, if your alternative is just staying at home and doing nothing. But, you know, who wants to go to the gym to do that? You know, I'm certainly not a sympathizer there. Maybe once I'm like, you know, I don't want to I don't want to call them out. That kind of reminds me of when I was lifting at my grandparents' house down in Florida. So the YMCA was just full of old heads. But fuck, man, most of them were doing cardio, so they're ahead of the game compared to you, mofo. But where was I even going with this? Oh yeah, basic premise: do your sets hard, and then you won't really have to worry about thinking too much about, oh, did I, maybe if, maybe if I did this routine, then I'd get the results I want. Wait, oh no. Maybe if I did this kind of style, like, oh well, maybe if I did what Arnold did, or maybe if I did this or that and the other. You know, for the most part, anyone who's plateaued and their problem is not food related, which I think most plateaus are food related. You just can't eat enough food to, you know, gain any weight. But if it's not food related and you can put down food like a horse, then, you know, I don't know if changing your training style drastically is going to be the answer. I think your intensity and consistency is going to be much more important in affecting your long-term gains. So this, I'm trying to think of just who I'm referring to when I say this, when I say all these tips and whatnot, because it's good info for the newbie lifter for sure, you know. But yeah, dude, even if you've been lifting for a while every couple of months, um, I don't know if this is like an across the board phenomenon, but for me at least, over the course of my whole lifting career, back from the beginning of around, I think it was like August of 2018, that's when I started lifting consistently. Uh, Before then, I just had like a pair of 30s in my room that I would curl in between games of Fortnite. We all got to start somewhere. But yeah, across my five-ish, a little longer than 5 years of lifting, every couple of months, I've kind of had a little bit of a reflection. If I've had a lift where maybe I didn't push myself that hard, or if I've had a lift where I pushed myself extra hard for whatever reason. Maybe I got extra sleep. Maybe I just watched a video that got me really amped up. Whatever catalyst it ends up being, every couple of months, the bar of my intensity that I'm satisfied with has gone up, right? So let's say I had a shitty lift, or maybe I just did like a scrappy lift, then, my sort of reflective thoughts are like, what the fuck was that? Dude, let's get fucking real. And then the next lift would be harder, or something along those lines, you know? And I mean, your fucking motivation can come from anybody, right? Be it like shows, actual dudes, ideas, any fucking whatever. Whatever you got to do to get hyped up so that you can go into the gym with vigor, with a fire underneath your freaking ass to get you moving around. And that's how you got to do it. That is how you got to freaking do it. But yeah, even if you think you've been lifting for a long time, for you to sort of what's the word I'm trying to think of? I forget what I can't think of the word I'm trying to think of. But if you try to justify to yourself, like, the only reason I'm not getting any gains is I know everything. I just have I must not have the genes for it. I train perfectly. What, to even approach that style of thinking is just to solidify the fact that you're a total fool. You know, to think that you know everything is fucking the last thing you want to do. Right? To have an open mind to hearing new shit, that's where it's at. That is where it's freaking at, man. Now, whether or not the information that you take in is legit or not, to go through the process of understanding to think, okay, full body training every day, 3 sets per body part. Well, that seems fucking stupid. I'm not going to do that. Even just to think to yourself, okay, that's dumb. I feel like that's going to sort of sharpen your, what am I trying to say here? And maybe improve your mental acuity to be able to think, okay, that's dumb. But wait a second, that sounds good. Huh, okay, for whatever fucking thing is going on, or whatever lifting video you're watching, to be able to extract something from it, that's good for you. And when I say this shit, I mean, I think it could sound like when I watch lifting videos or whatever else, that I watch them like a fucking student. Like, every video I watch, I've like taken notes and trying, it's not like that. Just from being a lifter, all of your social media is going to be plastered with shit about lifting. Splits, routines, training, whatever. It's always in front of you. So you're almost kind of just passively absorbing the information. So if you just put in maybe just a little effort to think, okay, what is my training lacking? Then you could probably find holes in your training, fill them, and then make more progress. Bring up your weak points. That's one thing with me. Now, whether or not it ends up working, I guess we'll have to see. But, I've been going crazy hard on triceps. Heavy pushdowns. Actually, I mean, yeah, pretty much heavy pushdowns. Plus dips. But that's the main fucking movers in my workouts. But I can tell my triceps are slacking a little bit. So I look back. Okay, well, you know what? I'm not doing that much overhead tricep. So now I'm throwing some more in, and hopefully as this bulk continues, getting more tension in the stretch position, you can let me blow up my long head of my tricep and get them bigger, relative to my buys. Because who doesn't want big and proportional fucking arms, But shit like that. So don't I think conclusive statement. Don't get locked into any ideas. And definitely do not think that you fucking know everything. You know, don't take it as an ego hit to think to yourself that you don't get the whole picture. So that is all I gotta fucking say, man. Now all I gotta do is dude, I was only in there for like 40 minutes. Quick one. But now all I gotta do is go home, eat, chill, watch more of the Sopranos. It's only been about 4 weeks since I started, and oh no, wait, oh, no, no. It's only been about 1 week since I started, and I'm already on season 4. I've just been churning through it. It's good though. It's fucking sweet. I think I'm on like season 4, episode something. I forget. Whatever. But yeah, that's all I got, man. Go hard. Think about doing cardio. I mean, just by hearing me say the word cardio, it's popping up in your mind. So, your daily little reminder. And if you're not going to do that, well, I won't even say that. Do your cardio. So, I got arms tomorrow, and hopefully, I have to make a trip to the hospital afterwards because the skin on top of my biceps on both arms is gonna burst open just from the fucking pressure of the pump. So, whether or not that ends up happening, let's just find out tomorrow. So, I'll fucking see you then.